Well, I'm sitting here with Oregon Ranger.
Yes, sir.
How many CFDA World Championships have you won now?
I got 7 now.
7.
This helps me keep track.
Man, the guy needs a patch to help him keep track, man. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. What a run you've had.
Yes, sir.
You know, now you come from a long line of fast draw shooters.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Well, my grandpa started, I believe, in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I think his uncle got him shooting in WFDA.
Right.
And then he got my dad into it, and then I came along and started shooting. I started at the age of 7 in WFDA.
Yes.
And then started shooting CFDA. Grandpa and my dad started in, I think, 2008.
Okay.
And then I didn't get in until 2010.
Okay.
But we just been a shooting family, always have, hunting, shooting, anything to do with guns, we're all for it.
Well,
So,
that's great. I mean,
yeah.
So, and I've known your whole family, you know.
Oh yeah.
Starting with your grandpa since about 1970 or so was the first
Yep.
time I run into him, and I knew your father when your grandma was pregnant with him. I mean, I go back a long way with your family.
Yep.
And it's always been a friendly relationship. You're wonderful people to hang out with. I shoot in a 3-generation family too, with my son and grandson and all of our grandchildren and everything. It's just a great family sport.
It is. I mean, I've had hardly 0 complaints with this sport since I've joined. I mean, everybody's been so perfect. Sure, you can nitpick a few things, but I mean, the vast majority of everybody in the sport are fun to hang out with. You know, there's not a whole lot of drama going on.
No.
I mean, you get that here and there, but usually it's nipped in the bud real quick.
It is.
In this sport. I mean, if you're not having fun, find a different sport.
Exactly. It's hard not to have fun in this sport. If you bring the right attitude to it, you're going to have a great time.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's for sure. Now, you did something back when as you were 13 years old, and you were starting to shoot. You were really starting to get good. Take a note. And back then, in those days, you had to shoot in Billy the Kid when you were starting. And I had my eye on you. I said, you know, you're getting too big. You're getting too good for Billy the Kid. You can't be stepping on little kids shooting the way you're shooting here. You're really coming along, and you know, so you were actually the cause of us creating level 4 that allowed kids that weren't 16 and 17 to be junior shooters and shoot with the adult divisions.
Yep.
And so that got instituted earlier in your 14th year, being 14 years old. And then the amazing thing happened. And I knew I made the right decision when it came down to you and your grandpa in the finals of the Nevada State earlier that year, and he won.
He won.
He won.
He did.
He won.
And that was at that contest. It was the first time I started shooting kind of mid to low 3s.
Yes.
And me and him were just right there. That was a good competition.
Absolutely. So then, the magic happened. That October, Fastest Gun Alive, you were 14 years old, and you won the men's overall world championship title of Fastest Gun Alive.
Yes, I did.
What was that like to win that when you were 14?
I mean, there's not a whole lot of words that could describe it. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting it. Prior to that year, in 2009 or 2010, as we were leaving, we were saying bye to you and Dinah.
Yeah.
And Dinah told me that year that I would win the Fastest Gun Alive. And then the next year I won it.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
So she predicted that.
Yes, she did.
Wow.
She manifested it for me. So
She
all
has
the
no
credits
idea
to
of
her.
that. I'm gonna. She's going to see this in the interview and flip out. I'm telling you right
Right?
there. That's amazing. And then, you know, you went into a period, and I relate it, you know, I have to relate it to what a great golfer by the name of Tiger Woods did. You know, he came in and won the Masters, was the first big thing he won. But then it took him another year or two, but he was working on his golf game. He was trying to perfect his golf game after winning the Masters, you know, and so I always suspected that's what you were doing, is you wanted to take and refine your game. So tell me about that.
Well, yeah, you know, after 2011, this sport really kicked off. I mean, it was in 2011, 38, 39. I mean, you were the fastest guy out there.
Yes.
There's nobody really going to touch you.
Right.
And then after that year, it was 39, 38s weren't hardly anything.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to the drawing board
Yes.
and figure out a whole different draw, a whole different stance. I mean, every match I went to was a different stance, a different draw.
Right.
It was constantly changing until I finally refined it into what I'm doing now. And it's more or less just that slam lock draw. And, you know, really now that I've done it for so long and haven't really changed anything, it takes probably about 100 rounds before a match, and I'm good to go. I do not practice hardly ever.
You said something very key there, is a slam lock, okay? I always describe it when I'm instructing students, snap to your lock point.
Yeah, or snap, yeah. Snap lock or
Snap lock, whatever.
Yep.
But lock is the thing, because I see so many shooters trying to shoot as fast as they can go, and they're moving their gun, they're whipping the gun barrel
no
out
control.
there. Right. And hey, sometimes they're lucky that day and their trigger control timing is just right, and and it's just their bullets happen to be hitting the target.
Yep.
But I've always said, if you don't have a lock point in your draw, you're not going to be consistent.
No, and it's whatever happens, you know. But yeah, I mean, getting that lock draw that's important.
Well, it is, and it doesn't matter whether you're the shooter that likes to shoot more, you know, out here locked, or locking closer to the holster. But you don't have to shoot right over your holster like all these guys are trying to do you?
No, nope. I never have. To be honest with you, I've tried to shoot behind the holster in this sport when it was legal.
Yeah.
And my brain just, for some reason, won't let me. It always makes its way back out. So I've never had a problem with that. I mean, when the rule was in place or not in place. Either way, I've always shot in front of the holster.
Well, the rule was actually in place in 2011 when you won fastest, because that was an original rule for CFDA.
Yes, it was. Yep.
And yeah, let's discuss that a minute. You know, I made an executive decision to remove that rule because it didn't have a good enforcement policy back then, and people were being harassed if they were shooting. If they were shooting anywhere close to their holster or shooting good times, they would be talked to. They'd be pulled off that. We couldn't clearly see you were in front of the holster.
Yep.
And so I said, you know, I honestly didn't believe somebody could learn how to hit the degree of difficulty of target we shoot at. In those days, it was a 24-inch plate at 21 feet. Now it's more of the 17-inch plate at 15.
Yep.
But I didn't think anybody could ever hit that target consistently doing what we call the dump draw from the old world fast draw. And so I said, it's a rule we didn't need.
Yeah.
And so
nobody's gonna do it.
Right. And then we discovered people were doing it.
Yep.
And it was starting to lead to wilder draws, and safety's always first. Safety is first. And so I admitted my mistake publicly to the membership, and I reinstituted the rule for 2016. Of course, you know I took a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
But what did you think about that?
Didn't affect me none.
Didn't affect you none?
Nope, because I wasn't shooting behind the holster in the first place, so I didn't have to change anything. I just kept doing what I've been doing.
Yes.
And then everybody else was trying to switch everything back to how they were doing before, or trying new things, and I just kept doing what I've always been doing.
Well, hey.
So, hey.
You were doing it right, I guess, right from the beginning. But what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I think probably, you know, the accomplishments that I have done, you know, I mean, not a whole lot of people have won this many matches, let alone fastest kind of live matches. So to be the only man to win it more than once is a pretty good achievement, and pretty proud of that one in its own. And then my other goals were to win nationals, and I finally won a nationals. And so, yeah, but just being a part of the sport in general. I mean, it's not so much about winning or nothing like that. It's about everybody in here.
That's exactly right,
You
man.
know.
We call it the CFDA family.
Exactly. I mean, even when I had my surgery stuff going on, I still made it over here because I wanted to hang out with people. Whether I was shooting or not, I needed to be with my family. So
You did, and you know what? Your family was with you. You know, your CFDA family was with you when you were going through that. They were praying for you.
Yep.
They was supporting you, and you know, you're an icon in this sport. You certainly are at such a young age to be an icon. Oh my God.
Thank you.
But
Well, I mean, you were a pretty good icon at this age too when you were shooting.
well, hey,
You know,
it's been my life.
you got more titles than me. I'm catching up.
I know. You may catch me someday. I've won 17 world champions.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I got 10 more.
Okay. You'll do it. You
We'll
will
see.
do it.
We'll
How
see.
old are you now?
I am 26. I'll be 27 on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you're still a young buck, man.
Still young.
Well, anyway, partner, thanks for sitting here. And
Yeah.
I watched you shoot that last round.
Yep.
And Tin Bender, he jumped the light,
Yes, he
fired a
did.
shot.
Yes, he
He
did.
anticipated, because there's actually some weird lighting in here, and you can see shadows moving around on the target.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Okay, and so he jumped the light, and I was sitting there filming you, and I'll probably put it into this interview, a clip of this, and he fired a shot 2 lanes over from you. You never even flinched, and then about a second later, your light come on, and you shot a 3-2-0. That's an amazing shot right there.
Yeah.
No way I could not flinch if somebody fired next to me.
Hey, well, I mean, you know, when you've been doing it for a while, people jump on the line.
Oh, yeah.
People got the cameras that click.
Yeah.
If you don't learn to tune it out, then it's gonna mess you up every time.
Well,
And it does help a little bit that I'm deaf in this ear over here, so I
Oh.
can only hear about half of what you guys can.
Oh,
So that probably helped me out a little bit too.
okay. Well, it could
But
have.
yeah, you know, it's all about control.
It is.
So if you got it, you're good. If you don't, keep on practicing.
That's good advice.
So
Hey, thank you, bud.
yes, thank you.
Shoot well.
Thank you. You too.